This video has been created to help people understand why we need Cody safe spaces. Cody, pupil of the eye, people of African descent. And while we love our friends and we know they want to be a part of our programming, there are some times where we need to come together to heal, to nurture. And I want you to really understand before you go sending out invitations to everybody on your list, because this is not really about everybody. The goal of this conference is to bring Black people together in a nurturing, encouraging, and safe space in order to heal, to celebrate, sometimes just to exhale because you don't have to be on, to educate everybody else, to fight off our colonial mindsets, to remind us of our spiritual destiny as pupil of the eye, to be inspired by examples of courage, service, and resilience. And most importantly, to help us to not only see each other in all of our beautiful Blackness, but to love ourselves by seeing ourselves with our own eyes, through our own eyes, and not through a white, biased lens. Friends, these are serious times. Remember the admonition in the November 25th, 2020 letter from the Universal House of Justice? Quote, "But it is no wonder that in some other quarters, hope has become a depleted resource. There is a mounting realization on the part of the world's people that the decades ahead are set to bring with them challenges among the most daunting that the human family has ever had to face," unquote. And we can see some of these challenges already with the surge of hate crimes. According to police data compiled by the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism, quote, U.S. hate crimes have been on the rise in recent years, driven by factors ranging from a surge in anti-Asian sentiments during the COVID-19 pandemic to anti-Blackness animus in reaction to racial justice protests that broke out across America in 2020 after the killing of African American George Floyd while in police custody. The data collected from 15 major city police departments show an average increase of about 5% in bias-motivated incidents so far this year, according to a new report by the Extremism Research Center at California State University at San Bernardino. The cities have a combined population of 25.5 million people. So if you don't think 5% increase makes a big difference, hate crimes in the United States surged by nearly 30% in 2021, according to a report. Now, we're not even looking at 2022. Think about that, 30%. The Guardian of the Baha'i Faith wrote in 1942, quote, "The whole race question in America is a national one and of great importance. But the Negro friends must not waste their precious opportunity to serve the faith in these momentous days by dwelling on the admitted shortcomings of the white friends. They must arise and serve and teach, confident of the future they are building, a future in which we know these barriers will have once and for all been overcome," unquote. Friend, you have been invited to present at this conference because you have already risen. You are already serving, you're already teaching, and you're already actively building a better future for everyone. But also be clear, our internal unity is critical at this time, perhaps even more important than ever. We are who we have been waiting for. We cannot afford to wait until others realize the dangers, until blood runs down their gated streets, in their gated communities, and then they'll realize the urgency. You see, I can't even get it out of my mind. There was a hate sign at the Capitol insurrection, that January insurrection where they stormed the Capitol. But there was a sign that someone had out front that says, "Blacks and Natives, we're coming for you first." Think about the audacity of people that would tear down the Capitol, and then they're saying they're coming for us, Black folks. You see, the ultimate goal of this conference is that we begin to take even more responsibility for our own. As much as other cultural groups love and take responsibility for their own. It's kind of like a double crusade for Black people. Shoghi Effendi summoned American believers to a double crusade, and he clarified the priority. And that was back in 1938. He said, first, to regenerate the inward life of their own community. And next, to assail the long-standing evils that have entrenched themselves in the life of their nation. Unquote. We are hopeful that what you offer at the conference will help to, quote, regenerate the life of our Black communities that are suffering, and in some places view hope already as a depleted resource. The Guardian also pressed upon Sadie Oglesby that if Black people do not enter the cause, the world will find no peace, and that it is paramount in the eyes of God. Let's make this conference the best ever to attract our friends and family to the ultimate goal of building a society built on divine principles of justice and equity and unity. Shoghi Effendi said to Mrs. Oglesby, whatever is the cause, whether it is the Black man's cause, whether it is his shortcomings, whether it's the white man's cause, does not matter. What matters is that it is vital that he enters the cause. Whatever it is, you must remove the thing that keeps the Black man out and bring him into the cause. Not for the sake of the colored group, but for the sake of the world and for the sake of establishing the kingdom of God on earth. Unquote. Ponder for a moment how important it is that we bring Black people into this cause. It matters not if they become Baha'is, but if we can work together on building the kingdom of God on earth based on divine principles, where we're not seen as a color, but as a human. This is a FUBU conference, for us, by us event. I'm hoping it will turn into a marvelous opportunity to attract our Black community of friends and family by sharing what we are doing so that they may consider joining us and realizing the whole purpose of our earthly existence, which, as Baha'u'llah states clearly, quote, the purpose for which mortal men have from nothingness stepped into the realm of being is that they may work for the betterment of the world and live together in concord and harmony. That's why we're here. And we are each protagonists in bringing about the oneness of humanity. We realize that there's only one God, one human race, and one unfolding religion. However, sometimes people, while rightfully focused on the ultimate goal of this oneness, forget that there are wise steps that must be taken to get us to that goal of oneness. And friends, we're not there yet. In a March 24, 2019 letter from the Universal House of Justice to the United States National Spiritual Assembly, they said, quote, as your own analysis shows, there are advantages to sometimes working in multiracial spaces and at other times to spaces for African Americans alone. Keep that in mind. I know everybody's going to want everybody, all their friends and family, everybody come to this conference, but think about that. Some people don't feel safe. And so we have to create this space, as I said in the beginning. It has to be a nurturing, encouraging, and safe space for those who don't already have those wonderful, loving, intercultural relationships. So please do not invite, without some great consideration, those people in your personal network. This program is it must be a POTI-safe event whose purpose is to bring together the progeny of people who were involuntarily trafficked, separated, sold, exploited during slavery, or colonized on their own land. We want to bring those people back to a oneness and love of ourselves. That means that it is by and for people of African descent. To reach this end, I will use the same precautions as I do at the RISE conference to maintain a majority balance of people of African descent. Baha'u'llah once compared the colored people to the Black pupil of the eye, surrounded by the white. In this Black pupil, you you see the reflection of that which is before it, and through it, the light of the Spirit shines forth. Unquote. This eye metaphor explains that the pupil is like a mirror and reflects that which is before it. Rarely in communities where Black people are the numerical minority do we even get the opportunity to see ourselves, to see Black people, to reflect the beauty of our Blackness. That is why we have this unique conference. That is why the participants in this conference are to be majority people of African descent, so that we can see and reflect the beauty of ourselves as other communities are able to do. Persians are able to reflect and see lots of Persians, white people see white people, but where can we, Black people, see ourselves in all our glory? So be clear, the immediate family members of the pupil of the eye are always welcome to attend. All those that are not family members, though, will be admitted by invitation only. And they must already be allies and accomplices who are committed to the critical work of race unity. Many naturally will want to attend because of the spirit, the energy, the fun, the joy that Black people bring to every space we go into. But this is not an entertainment or educational event for those who do not fall into the categories I've mentioned. For us Black people, it's a time for reunion and a celebration of Black people. The Sodi, sclera of the eye, meaning white people surrounding and supporting Black people, much like the sclera supports the pupil, who are already working with us on this most vital and challenging issue already. For those people, we look forward to celebrating with them. But for others who are not in the fight, who are not in the ring, this isn't the event for them. So please, be careful with sharing the invitation. But you should share widely with your friends and family of African descent. Keep in mind, this conversation, this conference is not about educating the others about us or convincing them to care about us. It is about us. It is about us for those and for those who are already caring about us, who've already made supreme efforts to prove it, gone beyond lip service and prayer, but are actually doing something, who are actively working on their own lack of impatience and are acknowledging and conquering their often subconscious sense of superiority in their own words, deeds, lives, and communities. So I hope this brief audio clarifies the purpose, the goal, and the rules for invitees for this conference. I'm going to need you to help me because people will want to come. Thank you for participating in the conference. If you've shared this with some people who are trying to understand why everybody can't come and who should come, hopefully those of you that need to be there, I hope to see you.